Web3 represents a new phase for the internet, one that is powered by blockchain technology, which enables decentralization and token-based economies. I'm Víctor Muñoz, developer advocate at METIS, and what I have learned will make you wonder about our future. I'm excited to introduce the Web3 Devs podcast. Rami, the other day I was talking with one of my friends who's kind of a normie, so he's not into crypto, and he actually asked me something very interesting, which is, why do we need decentralization in the first place? Now, I have my own answer to that, but I would be super happy to hear from you. What is your answer to this question? Why do we need decentralization?
It's a pretty straightforward question. We need decentralization so that you can finally own your assets, so that you can finally own your identity, your wallet. You can have everything in your bucket without having to carry so many cash, so many ID cards, so many papers. It would be all in your wallet, all in your phone. Just without having to trust somebody who might screw you up, or some system that might go down. You would trust a battle-tested consensus that is diverse, run by multiple nodes around the world. We can go deep into this question.
Yes.
But like essentially it boils down to just not having to trust a system that can be vulnerable to takeover, to downtime, any of this.
Absolutely, this is completely aligned with what I replied. I think that one of the key aspects here is censorship resistance, right? This is something that we don't take too seriously until our Gmail account or our social media account gets banned and we don't have access anymore, and we don't even have an answer on what happened, right? And that's when people start realizing, okay, this is all controlled by one party and it owns all of my data, and I have no say on all of this. So it's really something that we need to learn as a society, but I think that we are going into the right direction for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned when your Gmail account or your email gets banned, but there's also something way worse than that, when your bank just gets frozen because somebody made the wrong political decision, and it's not completely not related to you, and you just happen to be in some place at some time, and your bank account just gets frozen because
that must be horrible. That must be horrible, man. Yeah, great point. So talking about decentralization, so at METIS, we will be implementing a decentralization of the sequencer. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what are the possibilities and the best way to decentralize the sequencer?
Sure. So at METIS, how we are decentralizing the sequencer, I think we went through it sometimes before, but I can just have a brief explanation here. So for starters, for the first year or two, we have a network, a selected network of nodes or operators that will be running as multiple sequencers. So instead of having one sequencer that is run by the METIS Foundation that runs the whole network and is prone to, I don't know, like failure or anything, would have a network. For starters, I think we're talking about something like around 10, maybe less than 10 sequencers, but it would be resilient enough to just keep the network running. There would be authority. It would be, of course, proof of stake for these sequencers, but there would be authority over the network on who can run a sequencer, who can stake and run a sequencer. It's just for the first period of the network, like for the first year, it is a critical time, and we need to choose our operators very carefully. That's why it has this authority part. But for this has some pros and cons. One of the pros is the low latency of the network. Like it would compared to other solutions, it would have very low latency. It would be almost the same as having a single sequencer node. So like the lowest latency is having one single sequencer. There is no switching, there is no rotating, and assuming that this sequencer just stays up all the time, this is the lowest latency for the network.
Got it.
So our solution assures the low latency, but at the same time secures the network with a proof of stake consensus. The second solution is, or like this is kind of like an advancement of this proof of stake with authority solution. Is just having a proof of stake, a permissionless network where anybody can join as a sequencer and like take batches and post them to Ethereum. This is scaling on Ethereum. Like this is anyone who has a computer node can run a sequencer permissionlessly and participate in keeping the network up. But this also can make for more latency. It can also have like make it more prone to MEV actions, like when sequencers reorder transactions in order to do sandwich attacks or these kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so this is something that we probably have to talk about more in another episode in details, because this is super important about MEV and this kind of attacks. But please continue now.
All right, sure. I was saying also about so this is the completely permissionless network. We are also exploring the network that will be governed not by the foundation but by the community, where community decides who can join, who cannot join. Community would be able to do the due diligence on each project and see if this is a good choice to join operation or not. There's also the shared sequencing. A lot of parties doing this right now.
What is that?
Shared sequencing is when so a network of sequencers would be running, all right, and it would be able to service multiple L2s at the same time. For example, like if you have a ZK rollup and you have an optimistic rollup, and they're two different networks not related to each other, the same network of sequencers can take transactions from this optimistic rollup and post it on Ethereum, and take transactions from the ZK rollup and post it on Ethereum as well. And this would be a similar network to our network, but it's like I'd say it can have more latency when you're dealing with multiple networks, and it's still like we haven't seen it in practice. Of course, we have seen METIS in practice internally only, but soon everybody will get to see how this network works. And like actually for a regular user it won't be very impressive, because and that's actually what's impressive about it, because it's seamless. They won't even notice the difference. They won't notice that the network became decentralized, because it still functions the same speed, same everything. I think it might be even smoother, because there was the assumption that the network can just go down.
Why would that happen?
If like when the network is ruled by one, I'm saying
by one. Okay,
go down when it's ruled by one sequencer. Yeah.
Yes. No, makes sense. Makes total sense. Yeah, actually, this is one of the main reasons why we should implement this technology, right? And I was now wondering, because okay, METIS a blockchain, right? It's the infrastructure. And on top of that, we have a set of decentralized applications running, and users will interact with this in the sense that, you know, they won't notice the blockchain or anything like that other than connecting their wallets, right? So I was wondering, like, what does the METIS Dev landscape looks like today, and what would you personally like to see in the future?
So we have a very broad set of dApps. It's not just DeFi. We have some dApps innovating in metaverse. We have Chorus for SocialFi, a lot of dev tools, and a lot more, much more interesting stuff coming very soon. We're gonna see some very cool dev tools in 2024. A lot of very like groundbreaking infrastructure. Just good surprises. We will see.
Good surprises. Yeah, I see your face, and it's like you want to tell me something, but you can't. So what we do know is that these tools, like for infrastructure and for developers, are something that is kind of a must need, right? For every blockchain to have a thriving ecosystem of applications, we need these tools. Actually, I get these questions all of the time in my DMs. Do we have an application that does this and that? And I'm like, okay, yeah, we are building something really similar. In the meantime, you can connect with an API and try to play on your own. So this is going to be something that is going to be really helpful in building the community of developers and builders that we really want to have here at METIS. So Rami, I think that I am set with all of my questions, but I still want to push a little bit more on the side of your personal taste on what's coming into the future, because at some point while we were talking, you even mentioned something related to the realm of decentralized identity. So without giving all of the alpha here, could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. So, like I always, I think I say this on each occasion. I would like to have my passport, have my ID, my visas, everything on my phone, and not controlled by some server, but like it would be just some set of data on my phone that, so if a policeman stops me, I can just show him this data. He can verify it without having even internet. He can just verify that this is me, and that I'm a verified person. I exist as a human. This would, like, when we reach this, we would have reached the biggest adoption of blockchain.
So
I think
please go ahead.
We are pursuing this. We definitely looking forward to onboarding some of the innovators in identity and decentralized passports.
No, this is a great point that you mentioned. And actually, if anyone is a builder or a developer or knows someone and wants to innovate, METIS is the right place to come. We welcome everyone that has some interesting ideas here, and we are ready to support you. And I think, like you mentioned, Rami, before, this is probably one of the kind of applications that we will see once like blockchain technology is really much more adopted, because the consequences of switching to this model are going to be incredible, right? Is the future. Is going to improve so much the quality of the life of people in every places of the world. So with that, I think I'm set with all of the questions for today. I don't know if you want to give us some sort of update, alpha, or something inspirational for the people who are listening today.
I can talk a little bit about how the ecosystem would look for the next year and the upcoming years.
Yes,
we would be looking at more adoption for the ecosystem, more of the bigger players joining our ecosystem. Bigger players, I'm talking about DeFi, I'm talking like bigger players in DeFi, bigger players in infrastructure, especially with the METIS Development Fund happening right now, the ecosystem development. A lot of builders will be looking at deploying on our chain. We are looking at a big we're going to be innovating a lot in payments area. We'll be seeing a lot of also like games on chain, a lot of gamblify and like casinos, on chain casinos. This is some very exciting stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Like gaming is huge, and I think that we will be seeing in METIS as well development in the NFT ecosystem, because we have some sort of hardcore DJs there that are really trying to push the adoption of this technology. And I mean, I'm super excited about what's coming in the future. I think that 2024 is going to be a year that we will all remember here at METIS, and I can't wait to see how this evolves. So thank you so much, Rami, for joining us today, and I catch you on the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, or if you learned something new, please subscribe to this channel. It helps us more than you can imagine.